In the folk tradition, music has always held a mirror to our highest hopes and our deepest contradictions. And in his song, The Sun Never Sets, first released in 2019 by singer-songwriter Roger Street Friedman, that mirror is trained on the journey of millions who came to this country with nothing but a dream, and on a nation that promised them light. But today threatens those who have chased that same dream with darkness.
Keep your head.
Featuring folk legends Tom Chapin, Joel Raphael, Peter Yarrow, and Guy Davis, and produced by Jason Samo. It begins with a boy on a boat crossing an ocean alone. But this isn't just the story of one boy. It's the story of America, a country built by people like him.
Never sets on a dream.
Is this song autobiographical?
In a way, yes. It's based on my grandfather's story. He escaped Russia by himself at 14 years old, made his way here alone, got a job in a tailor shop, and built a life, had a family, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and we are now part of that venerable American story. So this is deeply personal, but it's also a metaphor for so many immigrant stories that echo the same hope, the same struggle, and the same courage. Whether they sailed across the ocean or made their way through hundreds of miles of brutal jungle, it's meant to stand in for all those stories. Stories we used to honor in this country.
You use the lyric, "Keep your head high, the trials come by fire." What are you telling us?
That to come to America isn't easy. It never was. But today, for many, that fire is ice. That fire is a knock on the door at 4 a.m. That fire is being separated from your American kids because there was virtually no provision for you to gain citizenship under our broken immigration system.
In 2025, the Trump administration initiated sweeping mass deportation policies. Thousands have been removed, including longtime residents, essential workers, young children, and even those who followed legal paths like asylum or TPS.
Most Americans, myself included, agree that violent criminals should be deported as long as they have their day in court. Only a small minority supports the idea of deporting every undocumented immigrant. This is actually, surprisingly enough, not partisan. Even a majority of Republicans don't support indiscriminate mass deportation. There's broad consensus that people who've lived and worked here, who've raised American children, or married to American citizens, should be given some form of legal means to remain in the country. These people have deep roots in our communities, and too often now they're being swept up and subjected to horrible, inhumane detentions and deportations without due process of law. They're even being detained at their immigration hearings. It's unconscionable. New data shows that the government is primarily detaining individuals with no criminal convictions at all, contrary to what they've told us. And just look around. These aren't dangerous criminals. They're the people you see every day. Restaurant workers, construction crews, caregivers, mothers walking their kids to school, fathers hanging out on the playground. They're an integral part of our society. This isn't public safety. It's weaponized fear.
There's a line that says, "God smiled on this nation of immigrants and refugees."
We were the great melting pot, and it made us great. Now we don't live it. Not when we tear families apart or treat immigrants as criminals, while disregarding due process of law, freedom of speech, and habeas corpus. That's not freedom, that's tyranny. That's not what America stands for, and that's what our founding fathers fought against and etched into the Constitution.
Immigrants make up nearly 1/5 of the U.S. labor force. Over 11 million are undocumented, and yet they pay billions in taxes, funding schools, health care, and public infrastructure that benefit all of us. Many work in the hardest jobs, picking crops, cleaning hospitals, caring for our elderly. And now, they live in fear every day. Why did you think it was important to re-release this song and video at this point in time?
Because like many people watching what's happening to immigrant families in this country, I feel powerless, and I need to do something. I need to use my voice. I believe the overwhelming majority of Americans are good people, and when presented with the facts, when they see who's actually being targeted, the harm being done to people's lives, and the incredible social and economic costs, they will come to the same conclusion, that mass deportation makes no sense. not morally, not economically, not socially. I hope they will see that contrary to the false narrative that most undocumented immigrants are criminals or are destroying the country in some way, that immigration has been and continues to be the engine of America's greatness.
Opponents of undocumented immigration often say they should come here the right way. But immigration advocates point out that for millions, there is virtually no right way anymore. In short, the legal pathways that once existed to immigrate to the United States, for all intents and purposes, no longer exist. I want to come back to something one of your collaborators said. Peter Yarrow, of Peter, Paul, and Mary, said, "I could feel the spirit of Pete Seeger as I joined my fellow folk singers' voices on this poignant song. With such songs, we recommit to pursuing our collective dreams for a fairer and more just society. Each note sung is yet another act of creating greater hope and peace in the world." What did it mean to you to have someone like Peter say that about your work?
I mean, these are the voices I grew up listening to. They carried the conscience of a generation, and for Peter to hear the echo of Pete Seeger in this song felt like an affirmation. That's what music like this is supposed to do. It's supposed to carry the dream of justice for all forward. And if we stop singing about justice, we risk forgetting how to fight for it. It's hopeful, and in the darkest times, hope is an act of resistance.
We are a nation born of immigrants. And yet, in this moment, we are closing doors once held open by generations before us. Doors that welcomed the tired, the poor, the huddled masses yearning to breathe free. The generations and generations of immigrants who built this nation. In Roger Street Friedman's telling, the story of one boy on a boat becomes more than just a memory. And he presents a challenge: to stand against fear and cruelty, and to remember, with honesty and courage, that throughout our history, it has always been the people. People from all different cultures and all walks of life, and from all over the world, that have made this country great. For 6 or so minutes, I'm Knott Pelli. You can view the video for The Sun Never Sets on Roger Street Friedman's YouTube channel, stream the song on your favorite streaming service, and learn more about Roger and his music at rogerstreetfriedman.com.
Keep your head high. The trials come by fire. They will try your